Well, this is where I left you last time, coming into the lock, stop lock that is, at Hawkesbury Junction, called Sutton Stop Lock. Well, from here on, I'm heading down towards Coventry Basin. I do not actually film on the way down to the basin. I actually moved off the next day. You can see it's absolutely gorgeous here today. The next day it was rather windy and not very good for filming. Very overcast and cold. So anyway, I'm going to start this video off coming back the other way. I don't quite make it to the basin, and I'll explain why during the video. Now at this point I would have loved to have actually done some filming of where the old alignment of the Oxford Canal actually went, because I did not actually find out about this until after I'd come back up from Coventry Basin and I was heading off towards Atherstone at the time. I think I was moored up actually at Springwood Haven when I was told about it by a dog walker. Anyway, let's get on with the video, and we're sort of leaving Coventry Basin. So let's go.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I just set off a few minutes ago. I moored last night just along here, which wasn't my planned mooring spot. I planned to go down and moor at the basin. When I got down to Bridge 3, there was the big sign up saying no access to the basin. I think it said basically, police incident, do not proceed beyond this point. So there's just about wind above Bridge 3. Well, I can just about wind there. The gap's about 59 foot long, and I've got a 60-foot boat, if you know what I mean. It's that tight. It's not quite that bad, but getting up in the sills and everything, it makes it that tight. So I'm on my way back up now, back up to Coventry. The idea was to go to the basin because I wanted to go and do some shopping in Wicks to get some timber for doing a little project inside the boat. Well, that of course will now be deferred until I can get somewhere else to get some timber. Never mind. I've only been meaning to do it for about 2 years, so another couple of months won't make any difference. You may wonder why I didn't actually film yesterday the incident and everything. Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't have the camera out on the back deck, and number two, it never even crossed my mind to go and get it. I was in such a hurry to just try and get winded round and out of the way because it was very windy, and so that's one of the reasons why I didn't have the camera out anyway. So I keep looking the other way. I'm trying to look around the corner see if there's any boats coming. Pretty sure there won't be. I met all of one boat coming down yesterday, but you never know. So yeah, on my way back up from the Coventry, well I was going to say from the Coventry Basin, I never quite got that far, down to Bridge 3. And now I'm just about to go under a very low tree here, and let's hope it doesn't knock the camera over. Some of these willows are getting very, very low across the cut right now. Yeah, no flying trees. Anyway, time for me to crack on. I'm going to go and stop at Tesco's on the way back up at Bridge 8 and do some shopping, and then I'm going to carry on up to Hawkesbury Junction where I'm meeting Steve Tyrrell for a pint of beer. That sounds like a great afternoon. If you don't know Steve, he's Narrowboat Precious Jet. Check his channel out. Anyway, as I say, I'm going to crack on, go and do my shopping, and make it up to Hawkesbury Junction. I'll catch you all later. Well, you can see where I'm going now. The sun's come out. Really, really bright. I'm going to stop just up here because there's some witnesses outside this bridge. I saw on the way down. Good morning. We're moored up here underneath the power line, quite close to what I believe is the M6 over there. One of the motorways anyway, I probably looked it wrong. I can look it up and I'll put it down at the bottom. For a couple of days I met Steve here from Narrowboat Precious Jet, and yeah, so it's we had a beer in the Greyhound, which is going to pass shortly, so let's go. Morning. There, we have a water point here, quite useful, and they put mooring rings back in. Remember I complained that there was nowhere to moor here before? Well, they've actually put mooring rings back in now, so you can stop there. I was talking about the old alignment of the Oxford Canal, and I believe it went just the other side of these trees we can see here. I'm not quite sure the exact alignment. If you walk through the trees, there's absolutely no sign of where the canal actually was at one point in time. Funny how some people think they can moor on water points, so more just below, in front of me yesterday. Moved up and moored on the water point. I don't understand some people. The Greyhound through there underneath the bridge. I met Steve for a pint the other night. I should say the other afternoon. we saw coming through Sutton Stop Lock, the Oxford Canal, has caught me up. So I'm just pulling over and going slow and I'm letting him by.
Morning. About the widest part along here.
Well, as predicted, guess what? Just after that boat went past me, yes, it started to rain. Fortunately, it was just a little bit of drizzle to start off with, but you could see these big black clouds rolling in. So I went up just around the corner on a lovely straight bit of canal, which I've moored at before. It's opposite the playing fields at Bedworth, I believe it is. The school playing fields, that is. Just before you reach the corner, where's Charity Dock? That's the place with all the mannequins outside. So I got there just in time, really. It was still just light drizzle when I got there. I got moored up, got inside the boat, and the heavens opened up. So, perfect timing. Nice fire going, and warmed up quite nicely inside the boat. I stayed there for a couple of days because it was raining off and on all the time. I did manage to get outside in between the showers and get my firewood chopped up. So that all got done, which was rather useful. Lots of firewood again back on top of the boat. That brings us to the end of this little video. It's a little bit funny because I didn't actually start off where I finished the last video, but I started off where I started filming after the last video, if that makes any sense. Coming back up from Coventry. I was going to say the basin, but we didn't make it there, did we? So, of course, a big thank you goes out to all my Patreon, PayPal, Super Thanks supporters, channel supporters, channel members, and everybody else who supports the channel in all ways you do. Very, very, very much appreciated. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. It really does help the old channel out. And hit the old bell notification button and click all. That way YouTube will inform you every time I upload a new video. Well, since the last video, and I put up about possibility of doing some sort of beer reviews, not so much a review, more of a taste and telling you what I think of the flavours and the type of beers, because I'm not going to do all types of beers, as I said, because I don't like all types of beers. And of course, rather unusual, we all like the same thing. I want to try and tell you, sort of more about those beers and the flavours they actually, well, I feel they give, like maltiness, sweetness, bitterness, hoppiness, you name it. So let's kind of start up quite shortly. I have a few bottles of beer on the boat, so I'm going to start off with those. As I said, I got some wonderful bottles that my brother gave me for Christmas. And before I drink them all, I ought to start recording them, hadn't I? So that's going to come up quite shortly. Well, that just leaves me to say, thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.